No overnight flash export sales today, so everything quiet on that front. But boy, the markets took off this morning anyway on the grains. Let's take a look at where we now stand. Let's go to the corn board here first. Our quotes are provided by bar chart. On the corn, we have the nearby May contract still 13.5 cents higher. We're at $7.64 per bushel. It actually had been 4 cents higher than that at one point. December new crop corn now 10 higher at $7.09. You know, it's feeling pretty comfortable up there with a 7 handle on the front. In the soybean trade this morning, they're getting after it there. We have the May contract 22.5 higher at 16.24 3/4, although it is off of its earlier high by still about 11 or 10 cents now. You have the November new crop soybeans gaining 12.5 cents. We're quoted at 14.52 1/4 right now. Big moves in the wheat market today. Boy, oh boy, here we go. The Chicago May contract 45 cents higher at 10.55 1/4. And believe it or not, we're 19 cents off of our earlier high. July also 44 1/4 higher now at 10.54 1/4. Big moves in Kansas City wheat. Similar action. Look at May, 48.5 higher at 10.86 1/4. And July 48 1/4 higher at 10.87 1/2. 10 handles all across on the Kansas City wheat here. Now on the spring wheat trade, Minneapolis, May now 19 3/4 higher, up above $11 at 11.04 3/4, and July at 11.04 1/2 is up 19.5 cents on the day. In the cotton market, you have July now 79 points lower at 133.49, but hold the phone, you have your new crop December contract 41 higher at 114.17 per pound. At a high at 115. Well, let's go to the phone and bring in Ben Hushon of the mill in Whitehall, Maryland. We were talking about the big moves in wheat. I would imagine maybe folks in your area there are working with some wheat ground these days. What's going on, Ben?
Good morning, Marlin. Yes, since we last talked, we've had a pretty good stretch of weather. We had rain roll in last Thursday. Tim Ross sent us just for good measure. But we were back in the fields pretty much in this area Monday morning, bright and early. And Monday, Tuesday, that's pretty much what we saw. For the viewers, sent in a little bit of video of some wheat top dress in this area. What that refers to is pretty much all the time we're split applying our nitrogen on wheat. So it's a little bit early, ideally, to maybe be applying to some of this wheat, that second application. But as you know, as we've been talking about, you never know when the next rain's coming. So when it's fit and with the value you just described in that wheat, these fellas do not want to miss the chance to get a little fungicide, growth regulator, and the rest of that nitrogen on.
So do you think the farmers actually put in a little extra wheat this year or not? Or is the acreage pretty static?
The acreage is fairly static right in our geography. If we go down on the southern eastern shore of Maryland, they were able to get a little more planted because of weather allowed them to get it planted. But certainly some of the folks that planted wheat late in December, thinking, well, if it doesn't turn out, I'll treat it as cover crop. Based on some of what you just described, Marlin, with pricing, they are not treating it as cover crop. They're treating it as a crop.
Quick question here, Ben. I don't have too much time here, but I was wondering, when do you normally plant corn around there?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I almost forgot to mention, normally in this area, we'll get started. Some of the early folks this time next week, they'd be rolling. Just stuck a thermometer in the ground here this morning, 41 degrees. So unless something really changes, I'll be really surprised if we see even the early corn planting getting started next week. So I typically would say at this point we may be looking more like in the teens, 13th or 14th.
Bingo. That was exactly what I was going to ask you about, if you knew what the soil temp was there. So, yeah, you want it up over 50 or 55, preferably if you can, and get that corn off and running very quickly. All right, well, Ben, thank you for the update. Great stuff, as always. Ben Hushon of the mill. He's in Whitehall, Maryland. We'll come back in a moment, and we'll cover the latest in our cattle and hog markets for you.